Okay, so Charleston Harbor. I pulled the boat in on one engine to the Charleston City Marina. It was a death-defying day, fighting the current. We had one engine, could barely do 6 knots. At times we were only doing 4 knots. Weather was picking up, gusts to 30 mile an hour. Just generally a very unsafe boat ride. Okay, I had to leave with the tide. All right, so I had to use the tide to get the boat going and help us drag the boat along. But using the tide also meant that I was going to be out there on low tide in a super narrow canal. The canal, the ICW, trying to remember the name of the river. It's actually a river, but it's very narrow. I mean, it's just wide enough for a boat, 2 boats to pass. And when it was low tide, it was literally 1 foot deep on each side of the channel. And it was just absolutely nerve-wracking. All right, scaring me. I get the boat to the mouth of the harbor and conditions are worsening. Charleston Harbor has, it's pretty rough. It had a lot of waves, a lot of boats, a lot of boat traffic, right? And I pull into the city, Charleston City Marina at Safe Harbor, Marina at Charleston, whatever you want to call it. The Safe Harbor Marina at Charleston, okay? It is huge. I'm talking the biggest marina I've been to so far. And I've been to a lot of marinas. This marina, it was endless. They had a thing called the mega dock. They were calling it the mega dock. And this whole dock is lined with 100-foot boats as far as the eye can see. I'm talking 4-story, super luxury yachts, all right? Every boat there was like $1 million boat. Here I come in my 1989 on one engine, and I gotta come into an unknown marina. And you think I'm pulling up to a face dock? Oh, no. I gotta go through the fairway, up, and get into a slip. All right. If you haven't driven a boat, to operate a boat with one engine and steer it when it normally has 2 engines to steer, it's like impossible. The boat does not turn. All right. And after that boat trip, I was pretty fed up. All right. I felt that I had been pushing and I had been taking a lot of risks. And I know a lot more about boating. All right. And I know, number one, you don't boat on a schedule. All right. And these guys from the very start, I mean, day one, it's going to take 3 days, right? I'm like, 3 days? That's 1,000 miles by boat. 3 days. Come on. Let's be real. I said at least 7 to 10 days. At least 7 to 10 days. Okay? So we had 5 days to prepare the boat. All right? And that includes moving my stuff off the boat. All right? Between here and Charleston, I spent $4,000 in gasoline. All right. Every day I had to pump 100 gallons of gasoline every single day. Okay. I find us a boat mechanic. All right. Well, the boat mechanic is in Charleston. The parts are in Charleston. I'm in Georgetown. It's 60 miles away. I rolled the dice and say, well, we got to move the boat. We got to get there so we can get the boat fixed. Okay. And I took that chance. I got us there, thankfully. I got us to the dock. I got us tied up. I got us checked in. I got the boat mechanic to come. All right. These guys just had no idea how all this stuff works. Nobody is on your time. All right. They're on their own time. And there's so much business and so few mechanics that they pick and choose what they want to work on and what they don't want to work on. All right. So when he's at the boat, He flat out says, I'm not going to work on the exhaust. It's too hard to reach. All right. He just flat out says it. All right. Which at least he came, because the other guy just told me, no, I'm not coming, period. All right. He tried to tell me how to fix the boat. And I was like, well, I guess that means you're not going to come. And he's like, oh, you're picking up what I'm putting down, huh? Yeah. He actually told me I was very clever for that, noticing that he wasn't going to come. Okay. So I counted as lucky that we found a guy and we got him out there. All right. They think he's going to just miraculously get his guys. They're going to drop whatever they're working on, get the parts, and get working on the boat at night. It's like, no, that's not how it's going to be. All right. They're lucky if that guy showed up today. All right. They upset me on yesterday, and I said I had enough. I got to be responsible. I'm not going to continually put other people at risk. All right. It's one thing to take your boat out and something breaks while you're out and you got to come back with your boat broken. It's a whole nother situation when you push off the dock with a broken boat. All right. That's a whole nother situation. All right. You knew not to take that boat out, and you took it out anyway. Now, things can go wrong so quickly out on the water. All right, very quickly. In a blink of an eye, things can get out of hand, and you're going to be in trouble. All right, and I'm trying to tell these guys that there's a small craft advisory that it's the best time to get the boat worked on anyway, because we can't take the boat out. It's a small craft advisory. I'm not taking the boat out. They wanted me to let the guy work on the boat for 6 hours. Whenever he was done, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, to push off from the marina during a small craft advisory, fuel up, and just make it as far as I can. It's like, that's not how you boat. You don't go out without a plan on where you're going, where you're going to stop. Where are we going to stop for the night with this boat? All right. Are we just going to we're going to drive the boat at night with no lights? Oh, that sounds even more like a plan. It's like just completely unreasonable. Completely unreasonable. All right. I get that you want to get your boat down to the Bahamas. I understand. Okay. You want to get your boat down to the Bahamas. All right. You can't risk everybody's life because it's something that you think you want. Do a little research. Look a few things up. Watch a couple videos. See how dangerous this shit is. During my trip, there was a capsized vessel that the Coast Guard was out searching for survivors. All right. That was on my way to Charleston. That I was getting that across the radio. Capsized vessel, all boaters be on the lookout for people. All right, and report them to the Coast Guard, because the Coast Guard is looking for them. All right, that's somebody that got into trouble out there, and now they need serious help. Everybody is in danger. All right, not just I'm gonna get hurt, I'm gonna lose my life danger. All right, there's alligators, there's sharks, there's, how about just trying to swim for 6 hours? Because that might take 6, 10, 12 hours for help to get to you. All right. So the other call that we had, somebody hit their EPIRB, all right, which is your emergency beacon on your boat. All right. This is what you press when your boat is sinking. All right, your boat is sinking and you're getting into your lifeboat. You press this button and it sends out a signal to let the Coast Guard know where to come pick you up. All right. 2 separate counts of people that were in serious trouble. All right. Do you think I'm going to put myself into that? No, I'm not. Do you think I'm going to put other people into that? No, I am not. I refuse. And that's what happened. I'm done playing the game of we can push the boat. I mean, the boat is 35 years old. You tell me something else in your life that's 35 years old that you can just run all day long at high RPM. All right, you just tell me. Name it. I want to see it, because it doesn't exist. All right? It's 35 fucking years old. All right? You can't just run this thing like it's a brand new car. All right? And that's the one thing about new boaters. All right? They think it's a dang on car. It's not. It's not a car. You just can't stop and pull over and get out. All right? Even if you get into trouble. Yeah, sure, you can call for help. But they're going to put it into priority. All right? So let's just say we had trouble. All right? Do you think the people in the water that were capsized might have been more of a priority? I do. So we would have been in line behind them to get help. All right? Where we could be adrift. All right? And then let's throw this Canadian wildfire onto the stack. All right? Where you have completely poor visibility. You can't see a mile out there. When you get out into the ocean, it's just one big fog bank of smoke. All right? So how in the world would they find you? We didn't even have an emergency EPIRB locating beacon. We didn't have that. We didn't have any AIS or any of that safety stuff. We didn't have any of that. We didn't even have a lifeboat. I had life jackets and a flare. That's what we had for safety gear, and some fire extinguishers. All right. I did everything I could to push that boat. And to me, we pushed. All right. We made it in a week to Charleston. All right. Considering I had to pump gas every single day, I had to pull into marinas because we had no generator. All right. So when I'm pulling into Charleston, I got no alternators. I got an electric fuel pump that's running off a dead battery. All right. The battery's so dead that I can't power anything but the radio and that fuel pump, for fear that I would lose the fuel pump and then lose the engine. All right. And then we'd be dead in the water. All right. And I just had to pull the plug. All right. It's probably the best thing that could happen to these guys was I pulled the plug, and somebody else is going to come in there and tell them all the same shit I've been telling them. They just didn't want to hear it from me, all right, because I had to be the bearer of bad news all the time. And I just got tired of being the bearer of bad news and having to tell everybody, no, we can't do that. All right, you bought a coastal cruising boat. It's not a passage-making boat. It's made to coastal cruise, all right? It was made to have the coast in sight, all right? Not go 60 miles off the coast. And it just doesn't even make any sense. All right. So we had no electric windlass. Even if we did have it, we didn't have the battery to power it. So I would have had to pull the anchor up. All right. And to top all this stuff off, my first mate had never been on a boat until he got on that one. It was his first boat trip ever. All right. Besides a cruise ship. All right. So he didn't know how to dock. He didn't know how to anchor. He didn't know any of this stuff. All right. Most of the time he spent sleeping. All right. And I just, like I said, I had to pull it for safety. All right. One thing, if you're interested in boats, it's a great hobby. It can be safe. It can be fun for your whole family. All right. But you, as the captain, are responsible for everybody's safety. When you push off that dock and you have people inside your boat, you are responsible for those people's lives. All right? And you got to take that responsibility serious, because people get hurt. People die. Okay? And I learned valuable lessons my first boat trip with my wife. All right. And I said, that'll never happen again. All right. Where I went off half-cocked. I didn't have a game plan. I thought it was a car. Oh, it's a car. We'll set the cruise control. I'll plot in a little. It'll take us right there. We'll just follow the GPS. No problemo. Right? until it got dark. And then I had to anchor out in the middle of the bay. And the waves pounded on the beam of our boat all night long. Till my wife was in tears. She was throwing up, sick. Everything in the boat was thrown onto the ground. All right, all the cabinet doors were swinging and banging. The refrigerator was knocked over. I can go down the list of stuff that was tore up from that night. All right, not to mention that I scarred my wife with that trip. All right, she's scared. I done took her out there and scared the shit out of her. All right, so all valuable lessons I had to learn on my own. All right, and I can't tell these guys that because they're going to have to learn it themselves. Last night I took off. I just left. I was tired of it. I went back to the boat. I said my piece. I said, you guys handle it. You guys don't need me. You guys are the ones telling me how to do this. So what am I here for? Because I can most certainly tell you I don't work for anybody. Right? I don't even work for the company I work for. All right, I work for me and my wife. And really, I guess these guys know that now. They know who they're dealing with now, don't they? Because I do not play. I'll quit my job right now, walk away from it right now. I got no qualms about that. The only person I get up and do anything for is me and my wife and our family. That's it. That's the only people I care about. I don't care about anything else. All right. And the job or whatever these people are doing, I don't care. That's your problem. All right. And they see that now. I know I can promise you that. They see because I just left the boat, packed my shit, and got on the airplane and dipped. All right. There's your boat. Enjoy. All right. And I hate to have to be like that, but really, today was another bad weather day. You know, gale force winds. You know, when you put up your windy app and it's all in orange and red at your location, stay at the dock. You don't leave. All right, you don't leave. And I got them to Charleston, which is one of the best places they could be to get boat work done. The marina I took them to had captains for hire. They had repair services there. They had everything those guys could possibly need for that boat was at that marina. Now, whether or not they take the opportunity to take care of things, I doubt it. And I seriously hope that my mate, L, I'm talking to you, don't you get behind that wheel and do something crazy. You better listen to everything I told you and remember it. All right, you get out there and get in trouble, it's you and you. All right, that's all you got. And don't push, don't risk your life, don't do any of that. Be safe, play it slow, think it out. What could happen if I do this? You got to think of that consequences. If I decide to push and we get trapped out there, what could happen to us? All right, and you got to think about worst case scenario. Not, oh, we're going to have a nice night of sleep and I'm going to cook a nice meal. No. What happens if a thunderstorm hits us? All right. What happens if the winds change direction and we're unprotected? All right. You got to think about those situations. It's easy to boat when I'm eating a nice meal and sitting on the back porch of the boat. You know, that's easy boating there. All right. Out there on the water, trying to navigate to a place you've never been, through waters you've never been. You don't know how the currents and tides are affecting things. You don't know about obstructions on the bottom of the ocean down there, you know, in the canals. Ships go down, fishing gear, crab pots, anything can happen out there. And all you got is you and your smarts. All right, and it's not a hard thing to do, boating. It's not hard, it's easy. All right, anybody can do it. All right, as long as you respect what you're doing and respect Mother Nature. The ocean is powerful, so is the weather. They're more powerful than you or your boat, and you got to respect them. As soon as you stop respecting Mother Nature, she's going to kick your ass. Okay? And you're talking to somebody that's had their ass kicked before, and I refuse to do it again. I'm not going out to get towed in by sea tow. I'm not going out to have to call the Coast Guard for help. I'm not doing any of those things. Nope. It's not me. And a lot of the stuff that was happening were all the reasons why I sold the boat to begin with. All right, that's why I sold the boat to begin with. It drank too much gas. I couldn't afford the gas. I couldn't afford mechanics to work on it. I couldn't afford this stuff. All right, that's why I got a sailboat. You know what I'm saying? I knew I wasn't the right guy for that boat. All right, I most certainly wasn't gonna, I already learned that lesson too. You buy a boat close to your house. You don't buy a boat 1,000 miles from where you live. That's just not smart. Second, if you're gonna buy a boat, get a damn survey, or at minimum, if you're not gonna get a survey, I understand. You don't have the money, you're buying a $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 boat, okay. But you're gonna buy something $20,000, you better get a survey. You're gonna spend more than $20,000, you better get a survey, all right? And if you're buying something that's a little lower price and you're really a budget boater, I'm the same way, all right? I'm a budget boater, all right? But I made sure that you take somebody with you, ask a friend that knows about boats. They're going to be happy to come, all right? Because boaters, we love to talk about boats, and nobody else wants to hear about boats but other people with boats, all right? So we love when we have an audience to tell all our boating tales to, all right? And brag about the little gizmos we're putting on our boat. We love that, all right? And I searched. I found a boat that had a new survey, all right? I couldn't afford a survey, all right? So when I found the boat that had just had a survey, and the guy let me read the survey, and I could see that the boat's in above average condition. I could see all the problems with the boat. I could see the moisture levels of the hull. I could see the value of the boat, what it was appraised at. Yeah, that's the boat I bought. All right, because I already went down that other route, buying something off my own, love of the boat, right? I thought a lot of times it's easy to get blinded, all right, that, hey, all I see is that I love this boat and I see the finished product. I don't see any of the stuff that's wrong, all right? That's what the professional surveyor is for. He's gonna find everything that's wrong with that boat so you can make a wise decision. Sometimes you got to walk away. Sometimes you just got to walk away from a boat. Like, this is not the boat for me because I cannot handle the projects to fix this boat. All right, a boat and refitting a boat, that's a huge undertaking. Huge. It costs thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours of man time. All right, so if you're not looking to do that, you need to look for something a little more turnkey. All right, a turnkey boat. Yes, they cost more, but they're going to have all the problems fixed. All right, and you still get a survey. All right, guys, I just wanted to check in, let you guys know I'm safe, I'm sound, I'm back here in Norfolk. Scary ass plane trips. Woo! You wouldn't think I'd be so scared on an airplane, but damn it, I had to close my eyes the whole time. All right, guys, I'm trying to wait on my wife here. I got here a little early before they opened up. I'll talk to you guys soon. Later.